Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 16 in my favorite 30 progressive rock albums of the 70s countdown. Each and every day I have to remember, got to say all those words, get it all in, because that is the title of this series this month. Yes, 30 days here in the month of June 2023. I have picked out my 30 favorite progressive rock albums of the 70s. I'm limiting myself to a maximum of 3 albums per any one band. This way we can kind of get as many of my favorites in here as possible without having it just be 5 or 6 bands. Because I could have very easily done that. But there's no fun in that, right? We know how great some of these albums are by a select handful of these. And for those of you who regularly I just realized I did it. For those of you who keep an eye out on what's going on in my background, you can see that there is a CD kind of sitting on the floor over there, which I moved out of the way to grab this one. And if any of you have been following closely, I have very often talked about like which shelves are for which band and stuff like that. So let's see if any of you between now and when I reveal can guess what my CD is based on what's out of place down there on the floor. So maybe you will, maybe you won't. Anyway, this is the fourth studio album from this British band. Yes, we're going back to a British band once again. Released March 19th, 1971. Recorded at Island Studios and Morgan Studios in London, England. Produced by Terry Ellis and Mr. Ian Anderson for Chrysalis Records. I'm talking about Aqualung by Jethro Tull. How many of you guessed it, right? Because that bottom row down there is all Jethro Tull, pretty much. And there in front is, as you can see, a recent live Steve Hackett album, which can't actually fit on the shelf because I've run out of room there. So it was sitting right in front of there. It's a couple shelves down low because Hackett is actually 3 shelves above, but that shelf is all completely full with stuff. That's the way it goes. I need to go through another audit and start moving things around, and that's happens a couple times a year here in the Pardo office. But anyway, back to this spectacular album. It's Jethro Tull's best-selling album, most beloved album. It's generally not my favorite, but it's often quite high up there. Yes, and I've heard people say, "Well, Aqualung's really not a prog album." Yeah, it is. Granted, some of the more well-known songs on here are pretty riffy, hard rock songs, but if you look at the album as a whole, it delivers everything that most of the classic Tull albums deliver. It's a mix of hard rock and folk rock and prog rock, right? There's a lot of intricate stuff going on here. This is a pretty groundbreaking, highly influential album. Of course, starring the great Ian Anderson on lead vocals and flute and acoustic guitar, Martin Barr, electric guitar and recorder, Jeffrey Hammond, otherwise known as Jeffrey Hammond on bass guitar, recorder, backing vocals, John Evan, piano, organ, and mellotron, and Clive Bunker on drums. So, what a great album, right? Every song is an absolute drop-dead classic, start to finish. Of course, it kicks off with one of the great guitar riffs of all time, the title track, Aqualung. Tremendous song. And one of those songs that's just under 7 minutes long. That's pretty long for, like, FM rock radio standards, right? But one of those tracks that, unlike other songs, which are kind of like equal or maybe a little bit longer in length, was never kind of chopped up for radio. Like, could you ever think of taking any of Martin Barr's amazing guitar solo out of that song? You can't do it. I think many of us would protest if we heard Aqualung on the radio and, Martin's long guitar solo was cut in half, right? You can't have it. Every note is perfect. It's got to happen in sequence, right? But just a great song. Then, of course, you got Cross-Eyed Mary, terrific song. It's hard rock and it's definitely prog. Great keyboards from John Evan in that. Just excellent song. Cheap Day Return. Here you get a lot of the great folky stuff on the album, of course, is sprinkled throughout this album. Cheap Day Return, of course, the lovely Mother Goose. So good. The flute, just amazing. Wondering Aloud, another excellent song. Up to Me, yes. So much power in Up to Me. Love it. Side 1 is just excellent. Side 2 might even be stronger. Okay, it kicks off with My God, which is just So dramatic, so powerful. Then you got back to the big riffy stuff with him 43, then the lovely Slipstream, then back to big riffy stuff with the classic Locomotive Breath, and then Wind Up. Wind Up basically mixes all the elements that you get on this album. You know, the piano and just more kind of folky type arrangement to beginning with, and then the slow build to the big riff ending, and then gentle to kind of close it all out. Just a terrific album. The pacing is great. The sequencing is great. This is a classic album, right? Some of you may say, but if it's so classic, Pete, why is it only at number 16? Well, because I like 15 albums just a little bit better than this. You know, you guys got to understand. It's like, don't take too much stock in where some of these wind up in my list. Like someone was saying the other day, it's like, because I picked Styx ahead of Dark Side of the Moon. And they're like, well, the Styx album is great, but, you know, Dark Side of the Moon is a better album. It's like, well, you know, there is no better. It's what we like more. And, well, yeah, I love Dark Side of the Moon. It's one of the classic albums of all time. But I like the Styx album, The Grand Illusion, just a little bit better. We're splitting hairs on these albums, right? These are my favorite 30 albums. So it's like it's really difficult. Not much separates any of these. So it's not like because I pick Aqualung at number 16 and I pick something else at number 5 that I like my number 5 pick way more than Aqualung. It just doesn't work that way. It's like, you know, I love all these albums. It's just putting them in an order is really difficult. And, you know, next week, hey, I might think that Aqualung should be a little higher, you know, or lower. Who knows? Who cares, right? Anyway, let's take a look at some charting position on this classic album here. So, in Australia, number 3. Excuse me, Canada, number 5. The Danish charts, number 3. Finnish charts, number 6. German charts, number 5. In Italia, in Italy, Sal, number 2. Norway, number 3. Italia's, I guess. Norway, number 3. UK, number 4. And the US Billboard charts, number 7. So Sal and all my other Italian friends charted number 2 in Italy. Highest charting. This in Italy, it charted the highest out of all these countries. I'm trying to think of the right way to say that, right? So pretty cool, right? But in all these big countries, right, a top 10 album all over the place. All right, the first reissue in 1996, it shot back into the charts in Germany at number 44 and in the UK at number 53. As far as the certifications go, it went gold in Germany, 250,000 copies sold. In the UK, gold, 100,000 copies sold. And in the United States, 3 times platinum as of the last certification, 3 million copies sold. Crazy, right? And, you know, all these years later, Aqualung and Locomotive Breath are still staples of classic rock radio, and occasionally you do hear Cross-Eyed Mary. I know I can only really go by my local radio station here. That they definitely put, you know, and I don't listen to the radio all that much anymore, but in more recent years, you definitely hear those two, and I have heard Cross-Eyed Mary from time to time. Back in the day, you used to hear him 43 occasionally, but can't say I've heard that in a while. But I don't know if anybody who listens to like deep tracks or whatever on Sirius XM, if you've heard various other songs from this particular album, I would guess you have, right? But yeah, it's a great album. It's a great album. It's my number 16 favorite prog rock albums of all time that I kind of cover. This is one of the many reissues. God, I think this is the 40th anniversary special edition. I also have the 50th anniversary box set. I think I still have another remaster of this. It's got way too many copies of Aqualung. Definitely don't need them all, right? Anyway, so there you have my pick for today. Let us know what you think of Aqualung down in the comments below. I've seen lots of you pick it already, so that should be no surprise to anybody that it's showing up on mine. And let us know your pick for today, pick number 16, down in the comments below. And tune in tomorrow from pick number 15 as we march our way to number 1. And then we change gears once again. We're staying in the 70s for July, but we're going to go count down my favorite 30 days or 31 days? I don't remember, in July. And I'm going to be counting down my favorite heavy albums of the 70s. So my favorite hard rock and metal albums of the 70s. As tough as this month was, I think next month is going to be even tougher, because once again you have a handful of beloved bands who have 4, 5, 6 crushing killer albums that I love so much from the decade. So again, I'm probably going to do the limit to 3. I may ultimately have to limit to 2. I haven't decided yet. I've got a big long list I've been putting together already of some of my favorites, and yeah, it's going to be hard to just squeeze 30 or 31. What is the number? I'm going to look that up right now. Let me go to my calendar. I'm sure many of you are talking right now saying, Pete, there's this many days. I thought it was 31. Yeah, 31 in July. So my 31 favorites. Oh, it gives me one more. Yes. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. Like I said, I've already kind of put together a preliminary list, but it's just, it's crazy. There's so many great heavy albums in the 70s. So this is going to be really tough. I'm going to agonize over this even more so than this month, and it is what it is, right? Just have to pick them, and just that's that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. We've also got the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations as well as your merch page. So thanks in advance for all your help there. We really appreciate it. And please do hit that like button again before you leave. And we'll see you tomorrow morning with pick number 15. Tune in. We also got tomorrow. We got Martin Popoff joining me at the Fun House. Saturday is UK Connection, and Sunday ranking the album. So lots going on this weekend. As always, hope to also get you maybe today, I don't know, or probably definitely over the weekend, I hope anyway, the next installment of those great 6 album runs, right? So I know I owe you another one of those. So that's coming up soon. So we'll see how quickly I can get that to you. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you real soon here on SOT with more stuff. I am Pete Pardo. Have a good day. Bye-bye.